Top fake billionaires of America. It's not a secret that so many people around the world lead double lives. This would simply mean that they may be an accountant during the day and musicians at night, or they could have about 2 or 3 romantic partners. There are all kinds of ways that you can be or claim to be something you're not. Before we get started with this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button. Stay in touch with the fun-filled and very exciting videos we share on this channel. Some of the most celebrated billionaires have, at some point in their lives, declared bankruptcy, either on their companies or personally. Other wealthy billionaires have, at different times, gone totally broke. Agreed, many things may be the cause for these problems: bad investments, economic downturns, and sometimes huge fraud cases that leave them penniless. Going broke isn't a crime, but deceiving people with your wealth's current status is a no-no. Anyway, some of these broke billionaires are living in the former glories of their past wealth. In today's video, we reveal the top 7 fake billionaires of America. Number 1. Kylie Jenner. Kylie's business started as a way to cash in on a minor scandal. The youngest of the Kardashian family, she spent more than a year rebuffing tabloid rumor that she was using lip filler injections before finally facing up to the gossip in May 2015. This revelation was enough to pull down Kylie's business. Far from being mortified about being caught in a lie, Jenner and her really smart mother, Kris, turned the entire fuss into an enormous marketing opportunity. You should nonetheless note that Jenner's net worth is not exactly what they appear to be to the naked eye. Though Forbes magazine had beforehand flaunted Jenner as the youngest self-made billionaire on the planet, the same magazine also recently stripped Jenner of the title. Forbes claims that Jenner's mother has been so desperate to get Jenner on the cover of their magazine for years. Well, Jenner couldn't really be on this list since her cosmetic kit's massive sale cleared out these rumors. Number 2. Donald Trump. President Donald Trump is no guest to bankruptcy. Yep, as strange as this may sound, it is an absolute truth. And although Trump himself has never come out publicly to declare bankruptcy, the businessman turned politician has, on some occasions, declared bankruptcy a good number of his various companies. According to Robert O'Hara's reports in the Washington Post in 1991, the Taj Mahal, Trump's casino in Atlantic City, declared bankruptcy after failing to pay interest to bondholders. This happened after Trump's finances went into a nosedive. That appeared not to be the last Trump company to fold. 2 other casinos belonging to the president have also declared bankruptcy, and the Plaza Hotel in New York. There are other bankruptcies filed by Trump that are not really public. One for Casinos Resorts in 2004, which had gone into $1.8 billion in debt. Another for Trump Hotels, and one more for Trump Entertainment Resorts in 2009. No doubt, President Trump is currently about $2.5 billion in net worth. There was a time his finances had nothing to offer. Number 3. Alan Stanford. Alan was no doubt the leader of the second biggest investor fraud case in the history of the United States. He's infamous for his very shady business dealings and for swindling over 18,000 customers of their money. Sadly, many of Stanford's victims are yet to receive reimbursement for the funds stolen from them. Alan's crimes began right after a Texas fitness club he owned suddenly went bankrupt. He instantly focused on offering offshore banking services and started operating his scheme. The investigation claimed that Stanford had been defrauding investors in order to fund his excessive lifestyle. Having the title of the second largest Ponzi scheme in U.S. history, the Allen scam climaxed at $7 billion in losses for investors. Stanford was later convicted on 13 felony counts in 2012 and is serving a 110-year sentence at a high-security prison in Florida. On a lighter tone, if he dies before the end of his jail term, the remaining period may be passed down to his kids and grandkids. So if you have been rating Alan Stanford a billionaire, now you know he was only living off other people's money. Number 4. Eike Batista. Batista once has dreams, like most desperate businessmen, of being the world's richest man. Sadly, those desires came crashing down when his once booming oil company, OGX, became penniless in 2013. Long before his company came crashing down, the self-made billionaire was primarily known for his extravagant lifestyle. According to a forecast on BBC, he even at one point became an inspiration for the younger generations. You'd be astonished to know that back in 2012, Eike was worth a mind-boggling $30 billion, making him the 7th richest man in the entire world. Sadly, when the country's economy pushed into a decline and Batista's oil company nosedived, he was compelled to file for bankruptcy in 2013. The authorities started up an investigation on Brazil's top companies and why they had declined so instantly. Eike was found guilty on the count of money laundering and corruption in early 2017, and then in July 2018, Batista was sentenced to 30 years in prison for bribe former. Number 5. Elizabeth Holmes. The next name on our list is Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes launched Theranos at age 19 and was once the world's youngest female billionaire. However, 15 years later, she was charged with massive fraud. Holmes was once praised as the only star on the rise in Silicon Valley. Theranos, her blood testing startup, received maximum attention in the early 2000s as an exhilarating investment opportunity. The company even promised to modernize the way patients are tested and treated for various illnesses and diseases. Nevertheless, by the end of 2004, the company had raised about $6 million from private investors. Now, some of these investors were people who had strong personal connections to Elizabeth. Nonetheless, as the thrill around Theranos grew, so did the rumor about the new company's regulations and practices. In 2000